Hey my little beans, it's Blancobean here, and today we are reacting to Times Judge Judy destroyed Perverts, Phil Mojo. I don't think I've ever seen a case. I said it in another video where I said that I love watching Judge Judy videos, but I don't recall ever seeing a video where there was perverts. So this would be interesting to watch and see what was the story, what was going on. But yeah, let's check this video out.
Mr. Douglas, I've read your complaint. I've read your response, Ms. White. What I gather,
Oh, this is an old one.
You rented to a room from the defendant.
That's correct.
And things, according to your complaint, became untenable there. You moved out.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're suing the defendant for $5,000.
Yes.
The case of Douglas versus White seems like a regular tenant versus landlady, but with a twist of sexual and mental harassment.
You rented him a room. You say he moved out owing you a month's rent because he didn't give you 30 days notice. So you're suing him for $5,000.
Judge Judy does not know what is going on just by reading the case. She's determined to find out.
When I went to apply for the room, I asked for no drinking, no smoke, or little smoking.
Okay, so what happened?
The first month I moved in, it was pretty calm. Thereafter, it just got worse.
How did it get worse?
Mr. Douglas claimed he lived in untenable conditions.
The defendant fought with her roommate constantly in the middle of the night. They'd get drunk and fight, beat each other up. This was happening every night.
However, he could not leave the house because he had no money.
What do you mean you couldn't afford to?
I'm on a fixed income, and it was costing me $450 a month to live there. I didn't have enough money to move.
Oh,
I just could not afford to move.
So what are you
until I
suing
moved.
the defendant for $5,000 for?
Judge Judy cuts off Douglas's testimony halfway. Some things don't seem to add
$450
up
for
in his
rent would
testimony.
be so nice.
Because
now.
she didn't take it. The money that I paid her was supposed to go as part of the rent or part of the mortgage payment. It never got paid.
What does that have to do with you? You're
I
giving her
went in there,
$450. I'm trying to figure out where this $5,000 number came from.
Judge Judy starts to think that he has no cause of action to back up his $5,000 claim.
How come the electricity got shut off?
Because he took over the control of my house. He told all the tenants, because I got notice of trustee sale, because I'd been trying to save my house after divorce.
Mr. Douglas, in a bid to defend his claim, mentions at some point his electricity got cut off.
He got all the tenants together and said, you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay any utilities. And they didn't at that point. They all stopped.
Why did he tell the people that they didn't have to pay rent?
Because he said
and utilities?
because my house was being supposedly foreclosed, and it didn't.
Miss White counters with revelations about what, or rather who, caused the power to get cut off.
I understand this. You found out, sir, that the house was in foreclosure.
He took...
Just a minute. You found out that the house was in foreclosure.
Yes.
The circumstances around what led to the power cut are heavily disputed by both parties.
And you had a conversation with the other tenants that if the house was in foreclosure, they didn't have to pay.
No.
That's incorrect. I'm sorry.
Who are you?
I'm the witness. I lived in the household at the same time.
Okay, I'll get to you then.
Thank you.
That's important. Did you step up here? One question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you?
The witness to the case, Diane Roosh, interrupted the testimony of Miss White, and Judge Judy allows it.
Did you pay electric?
Yes, ma'am.
You have your proof of that?
I did not bring that. I didn't know I was going to be on trial myself.
Judge Judy gives the witness a chance to help her clarify the facts of the case.
When this person moved out, they owed me 2.5 months out of the 4 months they were there. And I'm suing...
This
yes,
lady.
that person right there owes me over 2.5 months. They didn't pay diddly squat to me. And they moved in with this guy.
You have proof?
The landlady states that even the witness calls falsehood, but her proof is conveniently in Sacramento.
Are you currently living with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Not with. We're sharing an apartment.
The former minister does not want to say that he lives with a woman, so instead, he says that he does not leave with her, but he lives with her.
Yeah, I want that.
I still don't know where we get $5,000 from, Mr. Douglas.
Yes, very confusing stuff.
The electricity was shut off. She shut it off. It wasn't shut off because of the thing. I had to have it turned back on.
So
Judge Judy
You
still
didn't
cannot see
pay.
any reasons
How-
that justifies the former minister's huge $5,000 lawsuit.
She stole several of my own personal things
Like
from
what?
me. I have a list. Would you like to see it?
sure.
Mr. Douglas then claims theft against Miss White, who stole from him. He even has a list of stolen items.
A miniature pulpit? What is that?
Miss White also seemed to have a list of her own. She looks ready for whatever accusations Mr. Douglas throws her way. Judge Judy looks a bit bemused by the list, especially the first item on it.
Okay.
Just say,
Sure.
I tell you what,
In
just say
kitchen.
yes. Just
Yeah.
say yes that you have it, okay?
Okay.
Sorted couch pillows.
No.
Lavender blanket.
No.
A year's worth of new magazines.
Left in room.
Footstool.
My property.
The minister's list mixes weird items that do not add up to the plaintiff's claim.
Okay. Computer, monitor, and stand base. Do you have that?
No, I don't.
Set of 4 relaxation tapes.
No,
Do you
I
have
don't
that?
have it.
All right.
What?
You now know what she has. Shep,
I mean, what does setup for relaxation tapes mean?
I haven't heard anything near $5,000 worth. All that merchandise that she has, you can have back. I still have. Stop looking at your papers. Tell me where $5,000 is, Mr.
Judge Judy pauses once more
Right?
and asks
It's like
Mr.
you only have, like,
Douglas how
what,
he came up with
200
his
bucks?
$5,000 claim.
Couldn't afford to.
That's not her fault.
Well, it is her fault.
No,
sir.
it is
She
not.
didn't
She
charge you. She didn't
guaranteed
charge
me
you.
something when I moved in there, Your Honor, and she didn't fulfill that agreement.
No.
And I have a witness to that, too, or from the other witness.
I don't
You make
read
no
statements from
sense.
witnesses.
Judge Judy does not want to hear any more excuses from him.
She didn't charge you security. She didn't charge you first and last. You didn't bring in a whole bunch of stuff according to you. And if you couldn't afford to move out, she wasn't saying to you, she didn't keep you prisoner there. You could have moved out.
So she decides to hear the counterclaim instead.
I am countersuing for the damage to my room and house.
Do you what?
For the damage to my room and house. He left the room filthy, and I have pictures of how the room was left and the stuff he left in the room here. If you care to see some of that, may I?
Judge Judy lets Mr. Douglas know the deprivation of happiness is not actionable in a court of law. The defendant starts her testimony by submitting picture evidence to back her claim.
We're getting to that right
Well,
now.
then let's get to it, because this
Okay.
other stuff is nonsense. He
This
wasn't
is-
happy living there. You weren't happy having him there. He left, period. End of discussion.
Ms. White claims both
Exactly.
sexual and mental harassment. Judge Judy is glad to stop hearing the testimony of Mr. Douglas.
The mental and sexual harassment.
Well, you can tell
wrote-
me about that.
First of all, when he left,
Ms. White's proof is an ungodly letter sent by the former minister.
and then the day after that, on the 9th, he sends me this threatening, harassing note. And he
Show it
ends
to him and see
with a
if
note
he-
with, "Have a nice day. It may well be one of your last."
Ms. White claims the way she was addressed in the letter amounts to sexual harassment.
Dear Charles and Christine,
All of his correspondence has been addressed that way. The small claims court was addressed that way.
Judge Judy has a look of realization on her face.
why do you address the mail like this, sir?
Because that's the way I filed it in court, and I wanted the court to know that I didn't know who this person was.
Like she finally understands what this case is really about.
What? Well, why, sir, would you address mail?
Because I didn't know whose name to send it in, Your Honor.
The case seems to have turned into a gender. Perhaps that is how the whole case started. The former minister can't stand a transgender, even the one that has once tried to help him.
Have you officially changed your gender?
Everything, my legal gender, as shown in my driver's license,
Is female.
changed. Yes, it is. About 4 years ago.
Am I correct that the sexual harassment that you are referring to is the fact that he has addressed documents that he's sent out to people using both your female name and the name
My
Charles?
previous married name, yes.
Okay.
Judge Judy tolerates very little in her court. Perhaps Judge Judy already knows she would not need the witness to settle the case.
Correctly? Did you just curse in here?
I might have.
Get out.
Ooh.
Judge Judy circles back to her original state that Mr. Douglas has no valid claim before he thought.
And you didn't. But I think you got a lot of nerve with this. This is pretty vindictive.
Judge Judy questions Mr. Douglas's ministership.
This is pretty vindictive. Just a second. Pretty vindictive and pretty nasty.
He displayed petty and vindictive behavior towards Miss White, which is not befitting of a minister.
This having
I still object to her working there. I don't care if it's vindictive or nasty to anybody else. She shouldn't be working in a woman's department.
Unfortunately,
Mind your business.
conspiracy to make tenants not pay rent is not an offense actionable against Mr. Douglas. Judge Judy also lets Miss White know that her other allegations can't be answered in court.
As I ran out
Listen
of
to
money.
me. I'm not entertaining that. The fact that he told other tenants that they did not have to pay rent or utilities, and they listened to him
Yes,
because
they did.
because they were stupid. Go after them. In
Yeah,
their-
you have
in
to
a
take them
separate
to
action,
court.
each one
Yeah.
of them for money that they owe. What
I
else?
Did former boyfriend try to blackmail a teen over raunchy pictures?
Look at me, not her. You. Did you?
Yes, it was back and forth.
Jump. I didn't ask you back and forth. The answer is either yes or no. Did
Yes,
you
Your
ever
Honor.
take sexy pictures of Faith?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old was she?
15 at the time.
And you took those sexy
And you were
pictures
how
with your
old?
iPhone.
Actually, no, Your Honor.
You took him with what?
It was a previous phone before I had the iPhone.
Judge Judy probes the plaintiff, and he admits having taken some private pictures of his ex-girlfriend's Faith. She also establishes that under no circumstances such an act allowed, especially with minors.
Understand that you and I understand each other. Somebody made a complaint to the police that you had pornographic pictures of a teenager on your phone.
Yes, and the issue is...
Yes, they did. And as a result of
And
that,
he's
the
old.
phone was
Oh.
confiscated.
Yes, the previous phone that wasn't stolen.
Fine.
Judge Judy is shocked that anyone would buy Patrick a new phone after his bad use of the last phone.
Yes.
And she still bought you another phone?
I already had the phone when I told her it was a backup phone. The phone...
Just a second. We're getting better now. What does that mean about
Which phone are we talking about?
Listen to me. I don't want to hear you.
She is even more shocked to learn that it was not a new phone, but a backup phone.
Both phones.
Yes, I had both
Just a
phones.
second. So if you had both phones, listen, kid, the first thing that somebody does when they get a new iPhone is they transfer all their pictures.
It wasn't a...
That's the first thing that they do.
It wasn't an iPhone.
Listen, you had a kerfuffle with...
Judge Judy goes further to prove that he had both phones and must have consequently transferred all his pictures, which includes the sexy pictures of Faith he has. Judge Judy is determined to hear the teen's version of the story so she can unravel this sensitive case.
So then he just flips.
No, tell me what he said,
What
not
he
flipped.
said, I can't really recollect the words, but it was, I can't really remember like specific words that he said. It was just kind of a breakup, honestly.
And?
I guess he's trying to convince me to stay in the relationship and everything will be okay, we'll be fine.
She
How
narrates her
old?
story to Judge
Okay.
Judy and listens attentively to the girl's testimony. Although there is a disconnect between the teen and the judge, you can tell the situation affects her.
Oh, I'm sorry. He pulled out his phone and he started going through a file of all the pictures and videos. So then he blackmails me and he said,
No. He was going through the phone
Yeah.
with pictures and videos of you
Yes,
that he had taken.
yes.
The teen finally goes in the direction the judge wants her to go in her testimony. She reveals that once she broke up with him, she was blackmailed with sexy pictures he had taken of her.
You
Yes,
that he had taken.
yes.
Is there proof of this?
Yes.
Did you say a word?
Sorry, Your Honor.
You know what the proof is? The proof is that she's saying it, and that the photographs existed that were taken by an 18-year-old of a 15-year-old. That's proof.
The mother of the alleged offender tries to be sly and asks for proof, but the judge digs into her. I think Judge Judy got infuriated that she tries to defend someone guilty, even if they are related.
Pictures. That charge
I didn't.
was dropped.
I didn't ask you
He
whether.
pleaded guilty for
Well,
having
let me
sex
put it
with
to you.
a minor,
Look, right.
which is not registrable.
I know
you
all about
but
it.
it wasn't for the pictures, Your Honor.
She tries to defend him by using the fact that he had admitted to a prior unregistrable carnal abuse crime before Judge Judy. She might as well have been pouring petrol on the fire.
For the pictures. But the pictures were there because you know how I know why they were there? Because he told me.
On
Unless
his
you're calling him a
other
liar.
Phone, not the iPhone
I
that
don't-
was stolen.
Okay.
And how would you
See those
know?
pictures.
No, I don't have to
Because
show
he
those
told
pictures.
you?
Judge Judy makes it clear that Miss Atkinson's son had the pictures, even if the phone was consequently seized by the police.
I don't say it was blackmail, but there was a suggestion that he had these pictures because he's 18 and stupid. And had the first phone been taken already?
Yes.
So the first phone was taken by the police.
So how could
I-
they
I-
be transferred?
No. He had them both at the same time for a while. That's what he just
Yeah,
told me.
that's what he
Judge
just
Judy
said.
is sure that her grandson is at least guilty of being a dumb 18-year-old.
Oh my gosh, some of these cases, like the first one, obviously had to do. Well, that's the thing that I'm just wasn't okay. This is no shade, but wasn't the witness trans too, when he with the first case? That's the part that I got confused because I know they were saying that there was transphobia and stuff, but I'm just like confused as to why he's doing all of this, like, you know, trying to get her fired from her job and trying to, you know, call her by her birth name and things, and then all, but I'm like, well, isn't the person who is your witness trans themselves? Like, is there some trans hate right there? Like what is? Anyways, at the end of the day, this guy was a weirdo. He didn't deserve like $5,000. You couldn't even prove. You pulled $5,000 for what? You were too broke to go find a different place. Mind you, $450 during that time, I'm pretty sure you could find another place that was $450 of rent as well during those times. What was it, 90s? Pretty sure. And then second of all, you couldn't even, like, the things that you named were not even $5,000 worth. Like, literally, tapes, bruh, $200. Like, literally, that's all, if anything. And then the fact that they were saying about, like, oh, the house is going to be on foreclosure, so that means that we don't have to pay for electricity. How does that make any sense? You're still living in the house. Like, how are you going to get electricity then? You're gonna want to live your last few months there without electricity before it gets foreclosed, even though in court they just said that that wasn't true, that wasn't even going to happen. So it's like, you screwed yourself over there, buddy. Like, you didn't, like, at the end of the day, this guy made no sense. He had no case, and it was just ridiculous. I hope sending, especially Pride Month, y'all, like, sending all positive energy from that time to that woman, the defendant, because, like, I don't know where, like, you know, I don't know how they're doing now and stuff like that, but that was just, yeah, that was a lot. And then the second case, what, like, why is there an 18-year-old with a 15-year-old? And why is his mother defending his actions as an adult? Yes, he's technically a teenager because he's still a teen, 18, but he's an adult. He's a teen adult. So the fact that he was taking pictures of a 15-year-old and then trying to blackmail, did you not think that something was going to happen from this? Like, what are you doing? Why are you even with a 15-year-old? Like, ugh, God, like, people, like, literally, some people are just so fucking weird. They really need to go seek help when they start having these kind of thoughts, or finding people who are younger attractive. Like, that's something they need to go literally seek help for, because anyways. But very interesting video. Again, I really like Judge Judy videos. I'm trying to see if there's another, like, you know, creator who does videos, because I don't know, I have a hard time when it comes to the narration part of this. Like, I'm just like, I just want to see the case, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with copyright and everything, so that makes perfect sense. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed this. I really like Judge Judy cases, and it also makes you think, you know, makes you think about, like, the law and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope y'all like this reaction. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time, my little beans. Peace.